Information systems are all about managing the flow of information to support managerial decision making and activity. So the question becomes, how do you know if you're getting good information? Because you can make decisions based on good information or bad information, but some information is better than others. And as you're trying to figure out what type of system you're building and what information it's going to provide, you also want to see what kind of information it's going to provide. And in your textbook, and I've seen this in multiple textbooks, there's a 5-part framework for evaluating the information that you have. Information should be accurate, timely, relevant, sufficient, but just barely, and worth its cost. Okay, let's talk about each of those. Accurate. Accuracy means, is it right or is it wrong? Okay, so if you have inaccurate information because someone's put in the wrong data or because the values haven't been updated, you have a problem. Okay, if your inventory levels are not accurate, then your employees are not going to be able to make proper decisions about purchasing and about what orders they can fill because they don't have the accurate information. Okay, what about timely? Timely means that you have the information you need when you need it. Okay, so if you have a system that tells me exactly how much I need to order from my supplier, but it takes so long to calculate those numbers that it's a month after I need to place the order, that's not timely information. Okay? Relevant. Uh, we live in a world full of information. Okay? You can go out onto the internet or look in any variety of books and find lots and lots of information. The question is it relevant for the decision you need to make right now? That includes whether it's related to this decision as well as whether it's at the right level of what we call granularity. If I'm the CIO of a company, or if you're the CFO of a company and you're trying to figure out what the trends were for which products we're selling or where we need to control our budgeting, you don't need a transaction level detail on every single purchase that the company made. You need overall aggregated reports organized at the right level of detail. So relevance means, is it relevant to the decision and is it at the right level of detail? Sufficient. Information needs to be sufficient. That means you need just enough of it, but no more. Okay? So we could have, if I were to ask you, how warm is it outside? And you said, 70 degrees. It may not be exactly 70 degrees, but it's close enough. If I ask you, how much market share do we have? And you say, oh, about 60%. 60% may be sufficient, but the reality may be 63.275%. But it may be too expensive or not really worth the effort to get that extra level of precision. So you just want sufficient information. You don't want to spend all your time gathering information when a rough estimate will do. Okay. Lastly, is it worth what it costs? Okay. Information costs money. So you have to ask yourself, what is it going to cost us to obtain that information and to manage that information and store it and retrieve it and update it? Is it worth it? Okay, because remember, information systems are being built to address business needs. If you're gathering all this information about maybe the hobby preferences of your customers, but nobody's using the data, or even if it is being used, it's not generating enough difference in revenue to justify the cost of getting it, then it's not worth it, and you should stop trying to get that information. Okay, so in summary, information needs to be accurate, it needs to be relevant, it needs to be sufficient, it needs to be timely, and it needs to be worth its cost.